Welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're diving into a really fascinating concept, one that's attributed to the brilliant mind of Nikola Tesla. And it's this, a simple 3-minute technique that could completely change the way your brain works.
You know, Tesla was convinced that these weren't just some abstract cosmic principles. He believed they were the actual keys to unlocking the human mind. And the source material we're looking at today, well, it suggests his biggest secret had less to do with electricity and a whole lot more to do with the very air we breathe.
And this is where the whole idea gets really interesting. It proposes that Tesla's greatest secret wasn't some machine locked away in a lab, but a method for tapping into that universal energy. A method we all perform, thousands of times a day without even thinking about it. Breathing.
Okay, so first things first, we've got to wrap our heads around a pretty radical shift in perspective. The source we're exploring suggests that Tesla saw the brain not as a generator of our thoughts, but as something else entirely, more like a receiver.
So this right here, this is the core idea. Think about it. If your brain is an antenna, that means it can be tuned. Just like an old radio, right? You can adjust the dial to move away from all that static, the anxiety and distraction, and tune in to a really clear broadcast of intuition and focus.
So how do you tune this antenna? Well, according to this theory, the tool is conscious breathing. It's the master key, the calibration code, if you will, that lets us deliberately choose which frequency our mind is operating on.
Okay, so what is actually happening inside your body during these 3 minutes? The source describes this incredible cascade effect, where one simple action builds into this profound change across your entire system.
This timeline is amazing. It shows this progressive shutdown of the body's stress response. So in just the first 60 seconds, your physical body starts to relax, your heart rate slows. Then by the 2-minute mark, your brain's electrical activity literally shifts gears, moving from those hectic, stressful waves to calmer, more creative alpha waves. And then finally, at 3 minutes, that's when the heart and the brain are set to enter this powerful state of synchronization, a state the source calls coherence.
And what's crucial here is that the source claims this isn't just a feeling, This is actual physiology. There are measurable biological changes happening. Your stress hormone levels, things like cortisol, they start to drop. The vagus nerve gets a signal to just calm the whole system down. And maybe, most importantly, more oxygen-rich blood starts flowing to your prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain in charge of focus and making good decisions.
But the ideas attributed to Tesla, at least in our source, they went even deeper than that. They started to bridge this gap between the physical and the spiritual, suggesting that we're breathing in a whole lot more than just air.
Yeah, check out this concept, photonic prana. The idea here is that when we breathe consciously, we're not just taking in oxygen. We are literally inhaling tiny particles of light, photons, that then interact directly with our brain cells, actually fueling our consciousness.
So this completely reframes the nature of thought itself. From this point of view, our ideas aren't just bubbling up from nothing inside our skulls. Instead, our brain is acting more like a complex decoder, translating information that's carried on this universal light into the thoughts, feelings, and inspirations that we experience every day.
This reframes breathing from just a simple biological function to a powerful act of communication. Every single conscious breath you take becomes a declaration of your state of being, a signal that you are broadcasting out into the energetic field of the universe.
But what if this personal practice could have a global impact? I mean, the theory proposes that just as our own mind can be tuned, so can the collective consciousness of the entire planet.
The source suggests that individual coherence, when it's practiced by a lot of people at once, actually scales up. This idea of planetary breathing theorizes that if you get a critical mass of people all in a state of harmony, they could actually influence the planet's own energetic field.
So, the source material points to this experiment from 1993 in Washington, D.C. A large group of people practiced meditation over a period of time, and during that same period, official statistics showed a 23% drop in violent crime. Now, mainstream scientists mostly call this a coincidence, but proponents of this theory, they would call it clear evidence of collective resonance.
And that really poses a powerful question, doesn't it? It's about our shared responsibility. It suggests that the state of the world is, in some way, a direct reflection of our collective inner state.
So, all of this brings us to the practical application. How can you actually use this information? Well, the source material boils this entire theory down into a simple, actionable guide you can start using in your daily life.
These 5 steps are what transform the theory into a simple, repeatable practice. It all starts with a ritual. Just carving out those 3 minutes is the first big commitment. Then you bind intention to your breath, actively deciding the state you want to create, like peace or clarity. Step 3 is to notice the silence, that quiet little pause between breaths, which is seen as this moment of pure potential. Then you learn to use a single conscious breath as a pattern interrupt to break out of stress cycles during your day. And finally, you close with gratitude, which the source describes as the ultimate coherent vibration you can broadcast.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway from this whole perspective. Each breath is an opportunity. It's a chance to stop, to reset, and to consciously choose the signal you send out to the world. And, maybe more importantly, to yourself. So the question is, what are you broadcasting?